Person of interest that was supposedly last seen alive with Trudy on the day she disappeared. They got a tip from a source that they saw this man, William Ed Smith, with Trudy Appleby in his car, probably late morning, early afternoon, the same day that she went missing, so August 21st of 1996. And we didn't find that out until last year. And the person that finally came out with that last year had been questioned many times on Trudy's case. Her dad has always said since day one that when they find out who did it, he's probably going to know who they are because he had a lot of acquaintances. And he's been naming people since the beginning. But unfortunately, with no evidence, there's not a whole lot you can do. And why someone waited 21 years to come forward and say, oh yeah, I did see her in this vehicle with this man, when in the past kept denying, didn't see her, didn't hear from her. She had asked her dad, I believe the night before, if she could go swimming with their family of William Ed Smith the next day, and he had told her no. So we personally believe that they showed up at her house anyways, and more than likely said, oh yeah, we already talked to your dad, he said it was okay, and that she got in a car with someone she trusted with every intention on returning home later that day, and unfortunately that never happened.
What we did is we dug very deep, over 5 feet deep, into the ground to look for evidence. We recovered items that will be processed for evidentiary value. We did not find any human remains. We did not find anything that we can specifically say was related to Trudy Appleby, but we did find items that we're going to process for evidence. And the investigation is ongoing.
What were those items?
I can't say that right now.
Do you know who lives here?
Yeah. We do.
Are you really from the name?
Were we there? What's that?
Whipple.
Yeah, that's who it is. And Ed lives right there.
Do you know why the home was torn down?
It was raised by the county in 2004.
Does that make Ed live of interest?
Dave lives there. Ed lives right over there. Billy lives right there. Their family, they're connected. Yep. It's all connected. Trudy was here once.
The dog did teach you some sort of decomposition. They did indicate there was some sort of sign of decomposition.
That's correct. Both of them. Both
but
dogs.
No signs of human remains.
No signs of human remains. The dogs are trained to alert to the presence of odor of human decomposition. When we die, we all become biologically the same scent. As we're alive, we all smell different, depending on how you bathe and your cologne and perfume and that. But when we die, at the time of biological death, we all become the same scent. We decompose, and we smell the same. So these dogs are trained to detect that odor. So they're not detecting specifically Trudy Appleby or detecting specifically this person. They're detecting the odor of human decomposition. So like I said, there could be someone buried here 200 years ago, and they're down. That's what the dogs will indicate on. I don't think so.
Do they give you a certain spot? Like, do you put the items in front of their nose and they can say, yes, there's decomp on this shoe or whatever you found?
They could, but we didn't do that specifically here today. We just brought them on the land. The handler brought them on the land. She gives them their commands, and then the dogs begin to search.
Are you done with the site? Are you going to be back here in days?
I believe we've completed our investigation as regards to this land.
The items that were recovered will be taken back for evaluation and testing, and we'll know more when that is all complete. Until then, we're still right where we started.
And she's the one I'll never meet.
Ray is the uncle of Trudy Appleby, who would be 34 years old now. She disappeared back in 1996, and Ray thinks he knows where.
I don't think she left Campbell's Island that day.
Now, more than 2 decades later, Moline Police Detective Michael Griffin says he's confident they're getting closer to finding the answers.
This case is being worked on every day right now because we are getting lots of good, relevant information in. So, by definition, this isn't even a cold case anymore. This case is hot.
This past December, police uncovered a boat they believe could be involved with Trudy's disappearance.
The FBI processed it earlier this year for us, and the buccal swabs are at the FBI lab in Quantico.
And those are hundreds of swabs now being tested for DNA samples to compare later.
So we have a known DNA sample for Trudy that we will use to match to any evidence that we will find.
But it's more than the boat. It's a push for billboards around East Moline last summer, and Moline police naming William Ed Smith, now deceased, the last person to see Trudy alive.
Mr. Smith passing away 3 years ago has brought a lot of stuff up and brought new light onto it.
A lot of light Uncle Ray is looking to shine on some answers on this anniversary 23 years later.
We know who you are, boat or no boat, evidence, DNA or not. We're still coming for you.
Friends of Trudy Appleby gathered at First Baptist Church in East Moline for a vigil to honor and remember. The family says one thing that keeps their hope alive is the continued interest in the case.
Red hot, even though it's a cold case. It's red hot.
Recently, police searched along the Rock River after a tip. They say the search has given them new leads to track down. And to her family, that means Trudy could still be alive.
We still generate leads. We still get leads that she's still out there. We follow them up, and it just hasn't turned out that any of them have led us to Trudy. But it does give the family some sort of hope that we didn't find anything.
What matters is that someone is still looking.
Because we need all we can get. No matter how small it might seem, we need something.
The family considered not having the vigil this year, but Trudy's grandmother says nothing can stop her from remaining strong.
We're going to keep it up. We're going to keep it up. If I'm not here, if I'm gone, it's our kids. They'll keep it going.
Keeping the search going for one lost child as they hold tight to the others. In East Moline, Polly Mayfield, WQAD HD News 8.
Seeing Trudy with Ed Smith. Maybe Whipple was with Trudy and he's trying to blame it on Smith.
Right.
But one of the two of them, or both of them, had Trudy on Campbell's Island. And then Trudy's gone.
So they definitely had her on Campbell's Island.
Yeah. Now that's all circumstantial because until they can prove that they did anything, until they have a body, until they have evidence, it's all hearsay that they had something to do with it. But they were obviously the last ones to see her alive. And then she's gone. So where'd she go? Ed Smith was known to be like a matriarch of the family. He was the head of this clan of evilness, that the circle that they ran in.
Mm-hmm. Kind of the leader.
Nobody talked bad about him. You didn't backtalk it because it'd come back on you. Now he's dead. He's been dead for what, 6 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
But those people still won't talk. What the hell kind of hold did he have on somebody that, and still from the grave, they won't tell what they know about this case?
The day that she disappeared, remind me.
Would have Dennis called my mom and dad's house. I still lived at home. And we had a campground membership. And Brenda's husband took his vacation. And Brenda and her husband went camping. And my mom went with. And they were out at the campground. And my dad was on the road. And I was getting ready for work. Phone rings. And it's Dennis Appleby. He's looking for Trudy. And he's assuming that because we go out to the campground all the time, that my grandma or my mom and or picked up Trudy and they went out to the campground. I said, no, I don't think so. Not that I know of. What he's telling me about how she's been gone since last night. He come home from work last night and I said, what? I said, I'll go out to the campground and go get him. We're talking about before cell phones and all this. Sure. So I drove out to the campground and got Mom and Brenda. And they came home. Yeah. That's what? Just... Go ahead. Some things you never forget. And I'll never forget that phone call.